Alex gripped the edge of the porcelain sink, staring at his reflection in the dimly lit bathroom mirror of the opulent Harvard faculty club, his heart pounding as laughter echoed from the party outside. He had been exiled here, seated at a makeshift table by the restroom door, all because his cousin Mark had whispered to the host that Alex was one of those, and no one wanted him mingling with the elite crowd. But as the door swung open and a tall, sharp-featured man in a tailored suit entered, locking eyes with Alex in a way that sent an unexpected spark through him, Alex had no idea the stranger was Professor Ethan Harper, the very man whose lecture hall he dreamed of entering one day. The party was in full swing, a glittering affair thrown by Mark to celebrate his acceptance into Harvard's prestigious law program. Alex, fresh out of community college in rural Pennsylvania, had driven 6 hours to Boston just to support his cousin, the golden child of their conservative family. But from the moment he arrived, wearing his best button-down shirt that still felt too casual among the sea of blazers and ties, he sensed the undercurrent of judgment. Mark pulled him aside early on. "Look, Alex, some folks here are old school. Just keep it low-key, okay? No need to broadcast your lifestyle." Alex bit his tongue, nodding, but the sting was sharp. He had come out to his family 2 years ago, and while his parents tolerated it with tight-lipped silence, Mark had always been the one to make snide remarks under the guise of joking. As guests mingled with champagne flutes in hand, discussing Supreme Court cases and international policy, Alex was directed to a lone chair by the bathroom entrance. "It's the only spot left," the server said apologetically, but Alex knew better. He overheard whispers. "Mark's cousin? Yeah, the gay one. Better keep him out of the way." Humiliation burned in his cheeks as he sat there, pretending to scroll through his phone, the constant flush of toilets and slam of doors a mocking soundtrack to his isolation. That's when Ethan walked in. He was in his mid-30s, with salt and pepper hair that gave him an air of quiet authority, and eyes that crinkled with subtle warmth. "Mind if I join you for a moment?" Ethan asked, pulling up a nearby stool without waiting for an answer. "These parties can be overwhelming." "I'm Ethan, by the way." Alex looked up, surprised. No one else had acknowledged him all evening. "Alex," he replied, shaking Ethan's hand, feeling a firmness that grounded him. They started talking about the absurdity of Ivy League pretensions, about growing up in small towns where dreams felt out of reach. Ethan shared stories of his own youth in the Midwest, dodging expectations to pursue academia. Alex opened up about his passion for literature, how he wanted to transfer to Harvard someday to study queer theory, but feared his background would hold him back. Ethan listened intently, his gaze never wavering, and for the first time that night, Alex felt seen. As the conversation flowed, a subtle connection sparked, shared glances, laughter that lingered a beat too long. But the party dragged on, and soon Mark appeared at the doorway, his face flushed from wine. "Alex, you okay in here? Come on, don't hide out." The irony wasn't lost on Alex, but he stood, exchanging a quick nod with Ethan before rejoining the fray, his mind replaying their exchange. The next day, Alex woke in his budget motel room with a headache from the cheap wine he'd snuck. He couldn't shake Ethan from his thoughts, the way the man had made him feel valued amid the exclusion. Shaking it off as a fleeting encounter, Alex decided to explore Cambridge. He wandered Harvard Yard, leaves crunching underfoot in the crisp autumn air, imagining himself as a student there. By chance, he spotted a flyer for an open lecture on social justice in literature. Intrigued, he slipped into the back of the hall. To his shock, Ethan stood at the podium, commanding the room with effortless charisma. Professor Ethan Harper, the flyer read, renowned scholar in gender studies. Alex's heart raced. The man from the bathroom was a professor here? He stayed for the entire talk, mesmerized by Ethan's insights on marginalized voices in American lit, drawing parallels to modern-day prejudices. Afterward, Alex lingered, debating whether to approach. Ethan noticed him first. "Alex? From the party?" A genuine smile broke across his face. They grabbed coffee at a nearby cafe, the conversation picking up where it left off. Ethan confessed he had sought out Alex at the party because he looked out of place, much like Ethan had felt at his first Harvard event years ago. "I saw myself in you," Ethan said softly. Alex felt a flush of warmth. Over lattes, they delved deeper. Ethan shared how he had navigated academia as a closeted gay man in the 90s, facing subtle discrimination from colleagues who viewed his research as niche. Alex opened up about his family's rejection, how his coming out had fractured relationships, leaving him to fend for himself financially. The vulnerability built a bridge between them, and by the end of the afternoon, Ethan offered to mentor Alex on his transfer application. "You've got potential," he said. Alex left buzzing with hope, but also a nagging attraction he couldn't ignore. Back home in Pennsylvania, Alex threw himself into his studies, emailing Ethan for advice. Their correspondence grew frequent, evolving from professional tips to personal anecdotes. Ethan recommended books that resonated with Alex's experiences, and Alex shared poems he'd written about identity and belonging. One evening, during a video call, the line blurred. "I admire your courage, Alex," Ethan said, his voice low. "Coming out young. It's something I wish I'd done." Alex's pulse quickened. "You mean you're?" Ethan nodded, a mix of relief and caution in his eyes. "Yes, but it's not something I advertise. Academia can be unforgiving." The admission deepened their bond, stirring emotions Alex hadn't anticipated. He found himself daydreaming about Ethan, questioning if this was mentorship or something more. But doubts crept in. Mark called one day, probing about Alex's sudden interest in Harvard. "Heard you're talking to some professor. Be careful, cuz don't want rumors flying." The warning irked Alex, highlighting the family's underlying homophobia. Still, he pushed forward, visiting Cambridge again for an admissions tour. Ethan met him afterward, taking him to a quiet bookstore where they browsed shelves, fingers brushing accidentally, or not. The tension was palpable, but neither addressed it. As they parted, Ethan squeezed Alex's shoulder. "You're going to make it here, Alex. I believe in you." The words lingered, fueling Alex's determination, but also his growing affection. Weeks turned into months, and Alex's application to Harvard took shape under Ethan's guidance. Their emails became a lifeline, laced with subtle flirtations, compliments on each other's intellect, shared inside jokes about stuffy academics. Alex confided in a close friend back home, who warned him about the power imbalance. "He's a professor, Alex. What if this blows up?" But Alex dismissed it, convinced their connection was genuine. He visited Cambridge more often, ostensibly for research but really to see Ethan. One rainy afternoon, they walked along the Charles River, umbrellas bumping. Ethan opened up about his past. A failed relationship with a colleague that ended in heartbreak when the man chose career over commitment. "I learned to keep things professional," Ethan said, but his eyes betrayed a longing as they met Alex's. The turning point came at a campus event, a panel on LGBTQ rights in education. Ethan was a speaker, eloquently arguing against discriminatory policies. Alex sat in the audience, pride swelling in his chest. Afterward, in Ethan's office, the air thick with unspoken words, Alex blurted, "I think I'm falling for you." Ethan froze, then sighed. "Alex, this is complicated. I'm your mentor, and the age difference." But he didn't pull away when Alex stepped closer. They shared a tentative kiss, soft and exploratory, igniting a fire neither could extinguish. From there, their relationship blossomed in secret, stolen moments in Ethan's apartment, deep conversations about love and identity. Ethan helped Alex navigate his emotions, sharing stories of his own struggles with self-acceptance in a world that demanded conformity. Yet cracks began to show. Mark, now a first-year law student, caught wind of Alex's frequent visits. During a family Thanksgiving back in Pennsylvania, tensions boiled over. Around the dinner table, Mark sneered, "So, Alex, spending a lot of time at Harvard? Chasing professors now?" The room fell silent. Alex's parents exchanged uneasy glances, his father muttering about unnatural choices. Alex defended himself, but the argument escalated, with Mark accusing him of using his lifestyle to network. "You're embarrassing the family," Mark spat. Hurt and angry, Alex stormed out, driving back to Cambridge that night. Ethan comforted him, but the incident planted seeds of doubt. Was their relationship worth the familial rift? Society's pressures mounted too. Ethan faced scrutiny from colleagues who noticed his unusual interest in a prospective student. Whispers circulated about favoritism, especially when Alex's application was fast-tracked for review. Ethan assured Alex it was merit-based, but the rumors stung. One evening, over dinner, Ethan confessed his fears. If this gets out, it could ruin my career. Harvard has strict policies on faculty-student relationships. Alex felt a pang of guilt. Am I holding you back? He asked. Ethan shook his head, pulling him close. No, you're pushing me forward, to live authentically. Their bonds strengthened through adversity, but the secrecy weighed heavy, forcing them to question their choices. As winter set in, Alex received his acceptance letter to Harvard. Elation mixed with anxiety. He would be on campus full-time, their relationship no longer long-distance but fraught with risks. They celebrated quietly, toasting to new beginnings. But Mark's interference loomed. He had dug into Ethan's background, discovering his involvement in gay rights advocacy. In a heated phone call, Mark confronted Alex. That professor? He's gay too? This is messed up. You're going to get him fired and yourself expelled. Alex hung up, shaken. The conflict highlighted broader societal issues, the double standards for queer relationships, the fear of outing in professional spheres. Ethan and Alex discussed it late into the night, weighing the ethics of their love against institutional norms. Spring brought blooming cherry blossoms to Harvard Yard, but for Alex and Ethan, it ushered in storms. Alex moved into dorms as a transfer junior, diving into classes with fervor. Ethan's mentorship evolved into discreet support, study sessions in public libraries to avoid suspicion. Their love deepened, marked by quiet weekends exploring Boston's hidden gems, sharing dreams of a future unbound by secrets. Yet, the undercurrents of prejudice swirled. In one of Alex's seminars, a classmate made derogatory jokes about gay agendas in academia, unaware of Alex's orientation. Alex challenged him, sparking a debate that left the room divided. Ethan praised his bravery, but warned of backlash. Pick your battles, he advised, drawing from his own experiences of being sidelined for his research. Familial strife intensified. Alex's parents visited for Parents' Weekend, expecting a tour of his normal college life. Mark tagged along, eyes sharp for any sign of impropriety. During lunch, Mark cornered Alex. I know about you and Professor Harper. It's wrong, power imbalance, ethics violation. I'm telling the dean. Alex's blood ran cold. You wouldn't. But Mark's face was set in righteous indignation, rooted in the family's evangelical upbringing that viewed homosexuality as a sin. That night, Alex confided in Ethan, who paled. If he reports us, it could end everything. They debated options, coming clean to the administration, ending things to protect careers. But love won out. They chose to fight, gathering evidence of their consensual adult relationship. The controversy erupted when an anonymous tip, clearly from Mark, reached the ethics committee. Ethan was called in for questioning, accused of abusing his position. Rumors spread like wildfire across campus. Professor Harper seducing a student. Alex faced stares and whispers in hallways, his acceptance questioned as favoritism. Friends distanced themselves, fearing association. In a heated confrontation, Alex met Mark at a coffee shop. Why are you doing this? We're family. Mark leaned in. Because it's immoral. You're deluding yourself, and he's taking advantage. The exchange highlighted clashing worldviews. Mark's rigid conservatism versus Alex's pursuit of authenticity. Hurt, Alex walked away, but the damage was done. Society's lens amplified the drama. Local media picked up the story, framing it as a scandal in elite education. Op-eds debated. Was this exploitation or true love? Queer activists rallied in support, arguing for equal treatment, while conservatives decried it as eroding traditional values. Ethan and Alex navigated the spotlight, their relationship dissected publicly. Ethan faced suspension pending investigation, his tenure threatened. Alex considered dropping out to spare him, but Ethan refused. We've come too far to hide. In private moments, they clung to each other, emotions raw, fear of loss, anger at injustice, hope for vindication. Amid the turmoil, unexpected allies emerged. A senior professor, an out lesbian, vouched for Ethan's character. Students organized petitions, sharing stories of how his teachings empowered them. Alex wrote an op-ed for the campus paper, detailing his journey and defending their love as consensual and empowering. The piece went viral, sparking national discussions on age gaps, power dynamics, and LGBTQ rights in academia. But the pressure tested their bond. One night, in tears, Alex questioned, "Is this worth it?" Ethan held him. "You are." The investigation dragged on, a grueling process of interviews and scrutiny. Ethan hired a lawyer specializing in discrimination cases, arguing that the complaints stemmed from homophobia rather than ethics. Evidence surfaced. Mark's emails to the dean laced with biased language, calling their relationship perverted. The committee deliberated, weighing policies against context. Meanwhile, Alex's grades suffered under stress, but he persevered, channeling pain into his studies on queer literature. Ethan, sidelined from teaching, used the time to write a book on navigating identity in hostile environments, dedicating it to Alex. Public opinion shifted as more details emerged. A podcast episode featured Alex and Ethan anonymously, sharing their story. Listeners debated fiercely. Some condemned the relationship as inappropriate. Others celebrated it as a blow against closeted lives. Social media buzzed with hashtags like Love at Harvard and Ethics versus Prejudice. Alex received messages of support from young queer individuals inspired by his courage, but also hate mail accusing him of manipulation. The duality wore on him, forcing reflections on resilience. Family reconciliation attempts faltered. Alex's parents, swayed by Mark's narrative, urged him to end it. "Think of your future," his mother pleaded over the phone. But Alex stood firm, explaining how Ethan had helped him embrace his identity. Slowly, cracks appeared. His father admitted discomfort, but acknowledged Alex's happiness. Mark, however, doubled down, alienating himself. In a family Zoom call, accusations flew. Mark called Alex selfish. Alex labeled Mark bigoted. The rift deepened societal divides within their own home. High drama peaked at the committee hearing. Ethan testified eloquently, admitting the relationship but emphasizing consent and equality. Alex spoke next, voice steady. "This isn't about power. It's about two people finding each other in a world that tries to keep us apart." Witnesses corroborated no favoritism in Alex's admission. The room tensed as Mark took the stand, his testimony unraveling under cross-examination, revealing personal vendetta. The chair adjourned, promising a decision soon. In the aftermath, Alex and Ethan retreated to a cabin in the Berkshires, seeking solace. There, away from chaos, they reaffirmed their commitment. "No matter what, we've changed things," Ethan said. Alex nodded, feeling empowered. But uncertainty loomed. Would they prevail or face consequences? The verdict came via email, cleared of wrongdoing, with a warning to maintain professionalism. Ethan's suspension lifted. The committee cited insufficient evidence of misconduct and noted bias in the complaint. Relief washed over them, but scars remained. Campus life normalized, though whispers persisted. Alex graduated with honors, his thesis on queer narratives earning acclaim. Ethan published his book, crediting Alex as his muse. They moved in together in a cozy Boston brownstone, building a life intertwined yet independent. Yet, healing with family proved elusive. Mark distanced himself, attending law school events alone. Alex reached out occasionally, hoping for dialogue, but responses were curt. His parents warmed gradually, visiting once and meeting Ethan awkwardly over dinner. Conversations tiptoed around the past, focusing on neutral ground. Broader society evolved too. Harvard implemented inclusivity training, inspired by the scandal. Alex became an advocate, speaking at conferences on LGBTQ issues in education. Years later, reflecting on that fateful party, Alex marveled at the journey. From humiliation by the bathroom to hard-won acceptance. Their love endured, a testament to perseverance amid adversity. But questions lingered about the costs. The emotional toll, the public exposure, the familial fractures. Was it right for Ethan and Alex to pursue their relationship despite the risks? Or did the power dynamics make it inherently unethical?